Today we're going to do the sum and difference of cosine functions. Now these two identities at the top of your paper will be given to you on your Regents exam. So you don't never need to memorize these two equations. You just need to know how to use them. The first problem says find the value of cos A plus B for each pair of given values below. So we have A is 180 and B is 60 degrees, and it wants us to find cos A plus B. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug a 180 in for A and a 60 in for B. I'm going to look at my formula at the top of the page here for the sum identity. And everywhere I see an A, I'm going to replace it with a 180. Anywhere I see a B, I'm going to replace it with a 60. So it's going to be cos 180, cos 60, minus sine 180, sine 60. Type each piece individually in your calculator. So make sure your calculator is in degrees. Type cos 180, enter. You should see it equals -1. And then cos 60, enter, 1/2. Minus sine 180, enter, 0. Sine 60 in your calculator, you get 0.8660. which 6660, which is radical 3 over 2. We learned that earlier. This is where that chart that we did, those two charts we did earlier in the year might come in handy. -1 times 1/2 is -1/2. Minus 0 times radical 3 over 2 is 0. So we get -1/2 as an answer. And that's all there is to that one. I'm going to skip this one with pi and 2 pi over 3. I'll ask you guys to do that. But just so you can see how a radian value one works, let's do the one below, the 3 pi over 4 and the 7 pi over 4. The only difference for the one we're about to do is we're going to use the other formula instead, the cos A minus B. So for cos A minus B, it's going to be cos 3 pi over 4 minus 7 pi over 4. And I go to the top of my paper and then it says cos A, so it's going to be cos 3 pi over 4. Times cos B, cos 7 pi over 4, plus sine A, so sine 3 pi over 4, sine B, sine 7 pi over 4. Cos 3 pi over 4 is negative radical 2 over 2. You get a negative, if you did not get that answer when you typed it in, your calculator needs to be in radians. So you'll have to hit mode and make sure radians is highlighted. And you would get a negative 0.7071, which is negative radical 2 over 2. And then cos 7 pi over 4 is a positive radical 2 over 2. Sine 3 pi over 4 is positive radical 2 over 2. And sine 7 pi over 4 is negative radical 2 over 2. Do this in your head, not your calculator, please. Radical 2 times radical 2 is a 2. You got the negative, so it's going to be -2. 2 times 2 is 4. Radical 2 times negative radical 2 is a -2 over 4. -2/4 minus 2/4 is -1. I will also leave this problem 270 and B of 30 for you guys to do so you can practice the cos A minus B. Let's look at number 3. Find the exact value of cos 15 using this cos 45 minus 30. So it told us exactly what to use, so let's just use it. So that's a difference identity because there's a minus in between. At the top of my paper, it says it's cos A, cos B. So cos 45, cos 30. Plus sine A, so sine 45, sine B, sine 30. Type them each individually in your calculator. Cos 45 is radical 2 over 2. Cos 30, radical 3 over 2. Sine 45, radical 2 over 2. Sine 30, radical 3 over 2. Again, do this in your head, not a calculator. Your calculator won't give you a correct answer for this particular, well, it will, but you won't know what it means. It will give you a decimal instead of a fraction. Radical 2 times radical 3 is radical 6 over 4 plus. Okay, I realized this sine 30 is not radical 3 over 2. This sine 30 is a 1/2. So I'm going to try to erase it. Doesn't look like it's working here, so let me just cross it out. Sine 30 is 1/2. So, going back to this. Radical 2 times 1 is radical 2 over 4. Radical 6 plus radical 2, remember we can't combine it because the radicals are different. So as one fraction, it's just radical 6 plus radical 2 over 4. It now says use the value you just found to find cos 165 using that difference formula instead. So cos 180 minus cos 15. So, same idea. It'll be cos 180, cos 15, plus sine 180, sine 15. Cos 180 is negative 1. Cos 15, we just found it. I know if you type it in your calculator, it's a decimal you don't know. But however, we just found it. It's radical 6 plus radical 2 over 4. Sine 180 is 0. Sine 15, if you type it in your calculator, it does give you a decimal. We don't know it, but it really doesn't matter. It's 0.2588. The reason it doesn't matter is because it's multiplied by 0. So when you multiply by 0, it just goes away. So my final answer here is just going to be negative 1 times that fraction. So it's going to be negative radical 6 minus radical 2 over 4. And finally, this last piece, it says find the exact value of cos 300. When it says to find the exact value and it doesn't give you an option or tell you how to do it, you need to know your options. And these are your options. You have 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, 180, and 270. These numbers I just told you are the same numbers that were on that chart I gave you a while back. So when it says exact value of a sine, cos, or tangent of something, these are your options. You need to pick two numbers that either add or subtract to 300. The two numbers that I see that add to 300 would be 30 and 270. So what I'm really going to find is cos 30 plus 270. Using my formula, so it'll be cos A, so cos 30, cos B, cos 270, minus sine A, sine 30, sine B, sine 270. Cos of 30 is radical 3 over 2. Cos 270 is 0. Sine of 30 is 1/2. Sine of 270 is negative 1. Radical 3 over 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 1/2 times negative 1 is a positive 1/2. So positive 1/2 is our answer there. At this point, you can do the problems that I skipped.